We're going to talk about the inverter and the operation of this with the three-phase motor. So this is a mock-up that we have here. We have 220 power coming into this universal inverter, and then off of the connector here we have a cable going up to the potentiometer by the pedal. Right. So the way this works is this device will make the three-phase power that controls the motor, but to control the speed of the motor, we're putting a signal out to this potentiometer and getting a signal back. So whenever we replace this inverter or we replace the potentiometer on this pedal, we need to set the voltage on here, and we'll go through that right now. So I have a test cable right here that you can order and keep on your service truck for such an operation. And there's a place on this test cable to put your meter, kind of screw it in here so you have a free hand. And these two connectors go in place of the connector that goes between these two devices. So with the power off, I'll simply unplug this. And of course, if this were a tire changer in the field, it would be unplugged from the wall right now while I do this. We'll go ahead and plug one end of the connector into the potentiometer on the pedal. The other end of the connector goes to the inverter box here. So now I've got my meter here. And what I'm going to do is set my meter for DC voltage. And let's go ahead and power this thing up. We'll get 220 volts to it. So I'm powered up. We have a red light that's on, and we want to be careful here. There's 220 going to this thing. Incidentally, the connectors over here in the middle are the ones that are the leads going to the motor, right? So of course there's a cover that goes on the other side of this when this is installed in the machine, and it comes in a nice little box just like this. We have strain reliefs on this side for the cables to go in and out of. All right. So whenever we replace the inverter or we have to replace the potentiometer on the pedal, we want to go ahead and set the voltage. And basically what we're doing is we're turning the potentiometer to get the desired voltage, which is 2.7 volts, and then we're locking it down. So here's how this thing works, and this is a great way to test this, to diagnose it if you think you have an issue with it. This pedal assembly has a gear on it that moves as we operate the pedal, right? So as we move the pedal, it's turning the gear, which turns the shaft on the potentiometer. And you can watch here how the voltage changes. So at full bore, I should be getting about 7.5 to 8 volts on the meter. When I go into reverse, it should be down around 1 volt somewhere. So the trigger to get this thing to go backwards is right around 2 volts. So as soon as this thing detects 2 volts coming back to it, it puts the motor into reverse. And it's only one speed in reverse. As I go forward, the higher the voltage, the higher the RPM on the tire changer. So in the park position, we want this about 2.7 volts. And here's how we're going to adjust it. There's a set screw right on top of the gear here. I'm going to knock that loose. And now the gear's not moving, right, because it's locked against this gear. But since I loosened the set screw, I can come in here with a flat blade screwdriver and adjust the voltage. And you'll see it moving here as I turn that potentiometer. So we want to get 2.7 volts, as close as we can get to that, and lock it down. Now every once in a while you'll have a brand new tire changer that you'll install. You plug it in, and as soon as you plug it in, the table will start turning, or the shaft will start turning. That's because the voltage was not set properly or something happened along the way. So you may need to do this on a rare occasion on a brand new machine. Now that I tightened it down, you can see it's 2.65, which is fine. Plus or minus 5 or 800ths is not a problem for this thing. So now that I'm done, I'll go ahead and lock that down. I'll go ahead and turn the power off to my inverter, unplug everything, plug the cables back in the way they were, and we'll put this guy back in service.